All right, so yo,
I
welcome back.
pre
That's the blow, man. Yo, this guy right here, man. I first seen this guy on an Instagram sponsorship video, man. And when I seen that video, man, I was like, damn, yo, this guy has a very unique sound, cinema style of his video. For the track I'm talking about, that was 94 Dead Stock for the people talking about that. So if you know that song,
yes,
you
sir.
know the gentleman I'm talking about. If you recognize him, then you also know him. But I'm not Mike Powers or anything like that, so we don't do the dope intro or stuff like that. But we're still gonna give him an intro. But my guy right here, he's a true brand of reinventing yourself because for someone who has a deep history with like he does, I can't imagine all the work somebody puts in and wanting to reinvent yourself, but coming out sometimes reinvention is a good is in a good for yourself. So with reinvention comes new blessings. And I think that with this gentleman, with his reinvention, that he's going to see new heights too, because I think he came in at the perfect time now too. Man, without further introduction, man, I got Maze over it.
I appreciate that, man. That's dope. You touch on the history because you know, and there's been a couple, people that I've spoke with that have, that have understood like, what my background was. So yeah, the reinvention, man, that was pivotal, and I think that what that really is just me finding myself as an artist too, like, and finding my identity. It took time to figure that out. Plus, like, depending on the era you're from and the time you come up in is depending on what's going to influence you and a lot of the sound you're going to do. You know what I mean? Like, so, I was really grateful to be able to, kind of start fresh and also, man, I really appreciate you having me on here, man. Like, I think that, it's kind of cool that I'm able to market correctly and at least get people that are gonna appreciate the music. You know what I mean? So I'm glad you was able to come across 94 Dead Stock. Definitely one of my most impactful videos and songs that I've ever done, and I'm grateful for that.
Rocking retro since the beginning, sir. Yes, sir. I feel
Right. That's
it.
right. That's right.
So,
That's right.
we have a lot of similarities, me and you, because the more I learned about you, man, I'm like, damn, this guy is like kind of like me in a way, but I'm not a rapper though. So, me and you, like, we both grew up with our pops, and our pops were always playing around music. My dad was
Yeah.
rock and roll. Your dad was rock and roll, jazz, psychedelic rock. So you were listening to Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, The Doors,
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, Reg,
Yep.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. So
Yep.
coming up around that time with our parents, having a deep musical influence on us now too. I was curious, like your first rap album was Bone Thugs and Harmony, and you bought that in the sixth grade with your own money. But I gotta ask, like, why was that the first album? Like, yeah, you had MC Hammer and stuff like that, but why was Bone Thugs the first album that you first bought with your money?
Man, I think it was because of how popular that Crossroads was, because Crossroads was such a big record, and
That's it.
that was like across the nation. So at that time I was still in Maryland, and I was young, and there was a lot of grunge rock out. There was classic rock I was still listening to for my pops, and just a lot of the genres he was into. And then I really just think it was how big that song was. And if I'm not mistaken, I think like even they had like, wasn't Phil Collins on that record? There was a rock. I think there was someone from Gen. I think it was Phil Collins on that record, or they had a record with him, and I think they were just doing a lot of crossover work, and you know they just had a wide audience, and that's just what got me. I think it was just with Bone. It was just really like, it was really catchy, and it was like I could kind of sing with it, and it was really melodic, and I like that. I think that, like, that whole style is very unique. Nobody was really doing. There was like a little like, do or die, and there was definitely like fast rap out, and it
First,
was just, yeah. I mean, a lot of the shit from Chicago and Ohio, Midwest, that was the sound, and I think like it just caught me as a kid, man. And that record was just really big. So when I heard that record, it made me want to buy the album, and I listened to the whole album. The whole album's dope. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was just really pivotal because I had heard like Tupac records and Biggie records at that time. It was like More Money, More Problems. Two of America's Most Wanted was out, and when I heard Crossroads, I was just like, yeah, this record is just so fire, and I just had that shit on repeat for like, I was one of them kids that would like find a song, and I would just listen to it over and over and over until I was just tired of it, man. So, I drove my parents crazy doing that shit, but I was like that with early, man. My dad played this Kansas song, and it was Wayward Son, and I just really liked the beginning. I liked the whole track, but that beginning was like super cinematic and a cappella, and it just caught me. I would play it over and over and over again. I'm actually gonna do a tape called Wayward Son. But
So,
no surprise, right?
so with that, because my introduction to hip hop was through my dad was Ice-T with Body Count, because
Yeah,
Body Count.
of course. No, it's
So,
classic shit.
with that era now too, I would have thought that you would have got into Bone Thugs because their first EP, because Eazy-E was on it for the love of the money. But when I hear like you got into it because of Crossroads, I was like, wow, okay. But you got to remember, dude, the internet wasn't so there was no internet back then, people. Just so
Exactly.
you know.
And it depends on what you're exposed to. In my household wasn't like my dad didn't own like any like he didn't have a hip hop collection at that time in 19 in the 80s and early 90s. He was familiar with like NWA and shit. Like he'd be
Yeah.
rapping like he'd be rapping NWA lyrics when I was a kid just to joke around and shit. Not like vulgar ones, but
Oh
like he
yeah,
would
no, I know what you
kind of
mean.
just you know what I mean. He would just be and I think that that era was like a little bit before me. Like not before me, it was going on while I was a kid. Like I
Yeah.
was born in the Reagan era, but you know it was just like as a kid, I wasn't like there wasn't CDs that I had access to that I could just listen to like everything that was out in 91. You know what I mean? Because you would have thought I caught it a lot earlier, but I didn't. Man, I doubled back. Like hip hop was something that I had to like look into because I wasn't raised on it fully. You know what I mean? Like there was no like my parents weren't playing like Sugar Hill and like
Nah.
any type of real hip hop. Like my mom listened to like more like alternative kind of classic rock, and my dad was like a little bit of everything, but just didn't have like a big taste for rap. So that happened from me just hearing it, with my friends or in the neighborhood or something like that, or at school, someone showed me something, and then I'd be able to, I mean, let me look into this and check it out. That's like I caught on to everything late, to be honest with you, man. Like Nas, I didn't hear about Nas until, shit, I was almost 14. I was 13 years old running around in Maryland in like 98. And I heard I Am or 99. I think it was 98 or 99. I heard I Am. And that record made me go, so that's always been my favorite Nas album. I know that's ridiculous, but I mean, going back, It Was Written is the best. I mean, that's my favorite shit now, but it's like because it's totally front to back a classic. But I really love I Am because that's the album that I discovered Nas to, you know what I mean? And I know that's late. People will be like, what? I Am? And I'll be like, nah, that's
Hey,
New
I
York
never
State of
got
Mind
some hits.
Part
I'm
2.
not the front.
Hey, New York State of Mind Part 2. Nas is like Undying Love, bro. That's classics on there. So it was just the era that for me. It was just the timing and when I discovered. I got that CD because I stole it from a Kmart. You know what I mean? In somewhere in outside of Baltimore. You know what I mean?
I like how you say
So
that you caught on to things late now too, because I feel like I got into Wu Tang late. Like my first rap album was from Wu Tang
happened.
when we built for Cuban Links in 2004, and then you go down that rabbit hole. So I feel what you mean about that
Yeah,
when you catch on late.
yeah, man. That was one of the first. The Purple Tape was one of the first shit that really inspired me to like get into like different types of hip hop because Wu Tang was so much different. But Liquid Swords, I think, was the first thing I heard, and when I heard Liquid Swords, I was like, I was all in, man. I had a tape called I just little compilation called the RZA hits, and the RZA hits had all these little random joints from different projects they had done so far, and this was like 2000, 2001. You know what I mean? So but I'm right there with you, man. Like I'm a late bloomer. I was listening to a lot of when I was like 13, 14, right before I moved to Arizona. I was listening to a lot of Cypress Hill, and we were listening to Cypress Hill on the East Coast. You know what I mean? So it was like a lot of my partners were listening to East Coast shit out in L.A. It's kind of the same effect when we was listening to a lot of West Coast shit like Mac 10 and everything we caught from the Friday soundtrack we was listening to, you know what I mean? And West Side Connection and Ice T and shit, or Ice Cube and shit. But Cypress Hill 4 was also like a big record for me. You know what I mean? Dr. Green Thumb was on there, and he was smoking hella weed, and like everybody's like, nah, man, it's Black Sunday, it's this, it's the early ones. I'm like, yeah, they're all fire, man. Like I love those records, but Cypress Hill 4 is kind of what got me, and I'm a little bit of a late bloomer. I'm more of like a middle school hip hop era kid. You know what I mean? Like what I grew up on was like Nas, Big Pun, The Roots, NWA was in there. I've always been more into the intellectual shit, but and the real lyrical or delivery shit, which is why Bone Thugs caught me, because nobody was really doing the like that shit was crazy. So just got me, man.
Now, would you say like the album you said before, the album that changed your life is All Eyes on Me by Tupac?
Yeah, bro. Because when I heard that, I was in Phoenix, and like Pac was just so much on his West Coast shit that like it was extremely influential, and it was just the energy of that of both of those CDs, man. I mean, Ambitions of a Rider was enough. You know what I mean? That's just to be like encapsulated such a powerful era in hip hop, and it had such a sound and such like a, I don't know. It was more of a real life movie than it was just some random fucking hip hop album. You know what I mean? Like we were hearing about Pac, and we didn't have social media, but we hear about Pac just through homies talking about it. Like, yo, you hear about this shit? Or there would be like little DVDs floating around where you watch these little DVDs, or you get some knowledge about what's going on. You hear some shit in the records. Obviously, Pac was really vocal, so he was like, he's really vocal about pretty much fuck everybody except for Wu-Tang. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
that's true.
I mean, and that, even then, like that's like, I mean, you can really take the greatest hits and say that's the best, because we had that once the greatest hits came out, and like
Change
whatever,
was on
like
there.
those CDs, yeah, bro. The Smile joint with Scarface, bro. Like,
Yeah.
bro, those shits were, bro. Like the Pac is the type of artist that'll make you want to ride on somebody and then make you want to fucking cry and go apologize to your mom, bro. Like, and that range of dynamic is what really captivated me to be the type of artist I am right now. Nas was very similar. Nas was the type of artist, like I'm not really into a lot of the, kind of like, I'm not into the ideology rap like I used to do. You know what I mean? Like the super revolutionary, super spiritual. I appreciate it. That's not what I want to do. And I'm not into like really, really niche rap. You know what I mean? Where it's like I'm gonna rap about like, certain movie topics or cartoons or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Everybody has a pocket, and I respect the shit out and I love it. But because it's just human creation, and it's artists being artists, and that's dope. But for me, I appreciate real life rap about your real life. You make it clever, get creative as fuck. But Pac was always talking about his life, and he had his beliefs in there. He had everything in there. He had the struggle, he had his triumph, and he had everything in there. But he had that foundation, and I was always able to connect with that, because there were things I was going through in life that was similar to that. You know what I mean? Like fuck the music shit, like you know, when we had problems with somebody, or we was selling something, or we just got out of jail or something like that. Like these records meant something different. You know what I mean? So when you resonated with it like that, it was like it became kind of like the soundtrack to your life. You know what I mean? So people that I was with, all the people and all the people that were playing that record, it was like you hop in the cars, ambitious, you hop in, Hail Mary, you hop in. This is like all these different, whatever it is, all of them. This Pac just had so many hits, and he was, you know, just so, he was also so relatable. We're going back and listening to his interviews, like it's crazy, to do all that 20, 25 years, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like he was so young, and to be able to accomplish that, especially in the film industry. I have a deep respect for film and theater and dance, and
into that.
what Pac did with that, and then to do something like, you know, uh, um, you know, for All Eyes on Me is just crazy, you know. So that's why you always hear me kind of immortalizing Pac, because, you know, and I know all the controversy and the speculation and shit, but Pac is still,
It's a music
because of
that resonates.
energy, bro.
Yeah.
It's deeper than music. Pac was more bigger than music, and that's I don't I'm bigger than music. You know, like I tell people, man, boy, I'm a father. I'm a true artist. I'm a human being. I'm a good person before I'm just a rapper. And Pac was the same shit. He stopped at that, you know, that kid getting stopped, and then got it in with the cops. Like, you didn't even know, bro. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type. Pac had a big heart. You know, I got a big heart. I could be reckless. You know, I could get crazy, but I got a big heart. You know what I mean? And that's why I always related to Pac, man. And when I heard that album, that energy had never been matched. No, you heard that energy was like, oh, like Pac was just like, damn, this dude mad. He got it. You know, he got this crazy like Dawn energy. You know what I mean? That was that whole Illuminati shit. And that shit was
Yeah,
crazy. You know?
yeah, man. Bomb first, man. See, like, but that's the thing. I can see you actually relating to Pac because, like, your story, man. Like, your story is like a very deep story, man. You lived a crazy life from what I heard, man. Because, but yo, there's some things I heard. Like, I'm gonna ask you, but yo, man, I was like, it's who you are, and it makes you who you are resonate with the music. And I think that you incorporate not being like the niche rap talk about guns and drugs. You put in yourself out there
Yeah.
and resonate with others because I always say the introspective music hits harder and it lasts longer too.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. To me, that's what, you know, what Nipsey was talking about when he was making Victory Lap was like, you know, if you don't pay attention to the trends and all the, you know, all the this and that, and get into all these little waves and ride waves, you just make timeless music, and then that shit will last forever. You know what I mean? And all you got to do is what's inside your soul, bro. Who the fuck are you? Because you can only give yourself. You give who you are, who you really are, to the world, as in the form of music or painting or fashion or film or theater or dance. And what you're doing is basically giving your who you are to the world, and the world gets to judge that, and the world gets to put it on a, you know, on a platform or a pedestal and analyze it and microwave it and do it, or cherish it or do whatever the fuck they want with it, man. But that's the beauty of it, you know. And the artists that I respect the most are the artists that gave their soul to the world. You know what I mean? Like, and in return, you know, I think that a lot of people look to gain the world. I gained myself through doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to. You look for all this credit and all this love, and you realize that, like, as soon as you start doing that for yourself, everybody gonna start doing it for you too, man. That's why my goal has always been to make the best music possible and give that to the world, because it's deeper than just a bag. It's deeper than just rapping or just making music or just to do it or having a hobby or something or having a passion. Like, it's, you know, it's something that I feel like is more like a duty at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I have a gift. I honed the gift. I worked on it. I spent many hours, and I give it back. You know what I mean? And then people give me back love. People give me back monetary gifts. People give me back investment. People give me back good energy. You know what I mean? Like, that's really what this shit is all about. You know what I mean? I think a lot of these artists, these rappers that we were talking about, they knew what they were doing. They just didn't rap about that type of shit. They knew how to manifest. They knew how to move. You know what I mean? Um, Pac and people like him, I think, we're more concerned with the legacy than just how much money they can make off something. You know what I mean? And that's what makes our music different. You know, I ain't gonna put myself in the same category as Pac. I'm just saying
Oh yeah,
I
no.
try to make the same type of music, that same caliber. Nipsey too, Kendrick too, Nas too. You know, uh, that's real life music. You know what I mean?
I got a name for you.
Hmm?
I got a name for you.
You got a nickname for your boy?
No, no, no. I got a name for you. Like so you're gonna know who it is.
Oh yeah,
Tragedy,
yeah, yeah.
tragedy Khadafi.
Tragedy Gaddafi.
Now, I heard a story, man, when you were on a run that you went and got on a plane and went state of tragedy Gaddafi. Now, that is a wild story itself.
Yeah, no.
Oh, you still there with me?
Uh, Say what?
Oh, you just cut out for a second. You good?
Oh, you good? So I was like, nah, Trash is a crazy dude, man. Trash is a legend. You know, just go way back, and that was one of the, when I was a kid, I was about 22, 21, 22,
Oh wow! So
and I was
you don't get it into your artistry because you first wanted to be an artist around 17, 18.
yeah. So I had my little like I'd been in and out of a couple studios and I was doing my little thing, but when I linked up with Traj, it was through Killer Priest somehow, and I eventually talked to Traj, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna come out there, and I was like, are you? Is it cool? If, like, you know, like I'm gonna be on the run, you know what I mean? So I'm not, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna have some paper, but like, if you can hold me down, whatever. He's like, yeah, cool, just hit me up when you get here. So I was like, well, fuck it, like I'm gonna go anyway, So I was like, might as well hit him up, you know what I mean? And I had a partner who was who was in upstate New York at the time. He was on the run too, and uh, I was basically like, you know, fuck this probation shit. And, they was managing every fucking minute of my life, had to write schedules and shit. And I'll never forget it, man. I just took a flight one day, man. And I had, I tell everybody that was the AV and the Tim days, bro. I had the Avarex on with the fucking couple hoodies, duffel bag with, it was, the jeans, couple pair of Nikes, pair of Tims. And like, I think I had $1,100, bro. I had to borrow money from like couple different. I was on probation. I couldn't do shit. I was fresh out of county from like maybe 4 or 5 months. I had no money, so I hit up some people. Hey, let me get a couple hundred. Cool. Everybody gave me a little couple hundred. I put together like $1,100. I literally just went to fucking. I think I flew into LaGuardia, and my life turned into I thought I was really some character in Belly, bro. You know what I mean? Like half of this shit was like, I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to New York. I listened to all this fucking music, bro. And my all my boys in Phoenix were like, bro, you're crazy. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And but I'd call them from New York and tell them what I just did, and they'd be like, what the fuck? And like real shit. Like, I mean, I don't mean to put trash out there, but he really he at the time he was just staying, and he had this little building in the projects in nah, it wasn't like the projects. It was just he was over in like Southside Jamaica, Queens. He had like this building. It was like it was like above it was like right by the trains, bro. And that's all I remember. And I remember I had some crazy stories about that. But when I first landed, bro, I literally just like I hit him up and was like, yo, I'm here. And I couldn't get a hold of him at first, but so I stayed in the hotel. I hit him up the next day, and then I just went and stayed at his building for like a week and a half. And while he was recording the Death of Tragedy, was like a little tape he was working on at the time. And while he was recording that, I was just going from studio to studio, walking around the bridge, going to Jersey on the LIRR. Sin, a dude named Sinister, his homie Sin. He's cool as fuck. He used to pick us up and shit. And Sin had a building that had a sparring mat in it, like a full sparring mat. And I seen Trad and Sin like fully do like some MMA shit, like damn near in the projects and shit somewhere in fucking Queens. I didn't really know my way around back then, man, so I didn't know where nothing was. I hadn't been in any buildings before, like hadn't really been in any neighborhoods or anything like that. You know what I mean? So it was like my, Trad was like the tour guide. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was a thing, man. It was an experience, and to me, New York just changed everything. It changed my whole perspective on everything, bro. Um, so
Especially Southside Jamaica, Queens, I'd all play Jesus.
yeah, but we were really just getting. I wanted to be in the bridge, bro. Like, I mean, there were times when because the bridge was to me like the most. That was where that was the foundation. You know what I mean? It was the biggest projects in the world. I'd heard all about it. Growing up on Nas and Mobb Deep and
Yeah.
All the Queen shit, man, like Cormega, Lakey the Kid, Littles, Bars and Hooks, like we got deep, Infamous Mob, like all the affiliates, like we got deep, man. And Queens just had a really big impact on my style. They were real poetic. I think Brooklyn at a certain point was like more flashy and stylistic, and Queens had this kind of like real like gritty, kind of poetic. Yeah, it was fire, bro. So, they just had a lot of influence, and Trash kind of, just showed me around the city. I eventually went upstate and linked up with my boy, and it's a whole separate chapter, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, those stories are pivotal, man. That was my first cheesesteak, you know what I mean? That was my first New York slice. That was, my first experience on the subway. That was, bro, I had two big ass bags with me, bro. I was mobbing around on the subway, bro. I was the only dude in the projects. I used to go to the projects like that by myself, bro. Shout out to Foul Monday and fucking Killer Shah for keeping me alive, bro. Rest in peace, Killer Shah, bro. Them motherfuckers really like looked out, bro. Like I was a wild boy. And my man Burns too. My man Burns, he's a dude from Astoria. He's a Greek dude from Astoria, man. That's my brother right there, bro. When we linked up, it was like, I was like, I met my brother from another mother for real, bro. Like it was crazy. Like I felt like I'd known him for like 30 years, dog. So, we have known each other for damn near 20 years, 18 years or something like that now. But he also like, bro, like took me to the crib in Astoria. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have it like that. We didn't have no smartphones. You know what I mean? I was living off of Western Union money, and I had my little hustle and shit, like in New York. You know what I mean? But I didn't really have shit like that. So he gave me like some Jordans, and threw me like a little reversible Averex jacket and shit. You know what I mean? So, just to have something to hold, man, and that shit meant something to a motherfucker, man. That was the foundation, dog. So, New York had that allure, and had that captivating nature, man. It felt like Mecca. So also when I stopped eating pork, man, I stopped eating pork when when Tragedy Khadafi basically was like, "Yo, man, you still eat that, bro?" And I was like, "Damn!" And I hadn't read I hadn't I don't think I read the autobiography yet because I did more time after that. I eventually got caught and did more time, but either way, like it was just it kind of set me on the path to like clean my diet up and like be conscious of what I'm doing. And you know, Traj was the original intelligent hoodlum. You know what I mean? So I don't really keep up with bro like we did in the past, but I know he's got a family in his life going on too. So but yeah, that was definitely a time, man.
I bet, man. Like that's an experience, and I like how, like, it's an experience that you will never forget. Like, what year was this around now, too? Because it might lead into my next question.
06, 07.
Okay, so this.
That was my first time. That was my first time in Queens. Oh, like first time in New York. 06, 07. I think it was like right on the end of the year or the beginning of the year on 06, 07.
Okay, so I kind of jumped ahead of a bit because do you remember the day in '04 when you recorded your first demo? And do you still talk to Peso from the apartment complex?
Nah, bro, that's crazy. I can't believe he must have read everything. So I've like Peso was a dude from Texas, and I think I want to say he was Puerto Rican or something, or mixed, but he was cool as fuck, bro. He just randomly had this this spot like in his apartment. Like, I mean, I didn't even when I was recording in '06, you probably know, like I didn't even have the screen and the setup. I just had a little hard disk recorder. This dude had the whole thing. So like I didn't know about studios or anything. And no, I don't like I do I remember it? Like, bro, I remember I had this one verse that I think was like, you know, oh, this is the one, like, I didn't really know how to count bars or like rap on beat. I ain't had no timing like that. I mean, I knew a little bit, but I thought I had something together. I remember where I got the beat from. I remember I met this dude in the tents. I was in work furlough at the time, and we was going to work and going back to the tents. Hot as fuck, April to August. But I met this dude, white dude, and he lived in the square, like in the middle of the square, bro. He lived in like basically at the time like the worst part of my neighborhood, bro. He was on like 31st and Hearn. This was like tucked in with just like, bro, it was a spicy little neighborhood. The square was back then, bro. Like this little 29th Street and shit. It was crazy, bro. So this dude was like right in the middle of it. And I used to go over there when we were like in between. I was working for like this auto glass company, just doing some bullshit, and I would pop over to his house, and he'd have these beats. And I was like, bro, let me use this one beat. I got a beat from him. Took it over. I lived at the same apartment as Peso, so I took it over. I took the beat. and it was before I had to be back at jail. Like I had to be back at the fucking jail, like 8 hours or some shit. And we be sipping, and I'd be going out to eat, doing dumb shit, bro, and then just go back, get searched by the dogs, and fucking go in there and play some poker and get some commissary and go to bed or something. But like I literally like just did the verse and had it over this beat. I had it on a CD, and and I think we had a way to put it on MP3 players back then. Like that's how we would do it. We'd throw it on an MP3 player, and then someone on the yard had an MP3 player, and then you could just pop it in because we was going back and forth. So it was just work furlough. It wasn't nothing crazy. But I remember showing people and being like, "Yo, look at this shit. This is like the first shit," And but those files, bro, like I have no idea. Like that file's on a CD somewhere. Like all them CDs been moved around, and bro, I don't even have shit that I recorded in 2007, 8, 9. I got a bag of hard drives it's like a graveyard. You know what I mean? So like, I don't have those. I don't keep in touch with Peso. I wouldn't even know how to get in touch with Peso, bro. Come on, like I don't even know his real name, bro. Like, but
Oh shit! Okay, I don't know that face. Okay.
I never knew his real name, and we was doing some shit too, bro. Like real shit. But nah, he was cool. He had this Buick Riviera on fucking like 22s or something, like big old spokes, bro, like chrome spokes. And he was a Texas dude for real. But I don't know. I don't know where he from, bro. This is a random apartment complex that we lived in. Bro, I knew like 20 people that lived in this apartment complex. I lived in there like 3 different times. But it's just AZ history at this point, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's just you got to chalk it up. I'm always like, man, I'm so grateful to get to this point. Like, I really wish I had my first demo and I could call my boy up, but man, that
Like
shit sell, bro.
because you have MySpace and like they like you like because I'm pretty sure it's still if you can like look up the right credentials.
But I wouldn't have left that track uploaded to my MySpace because I had so much more. You know what I mean? So like,
Oh,
nah, and plus my MySpace, didn't they just? Oh no, that's Dat Piff. Remember Dat Piff? Dat Piff
that
did like
Pepper's gone. Oh yeah, that Pepper's gone, man. I had so much classics, man. Oh my god, man. Mixtape from my Clue tapes are gone, man. And I didn't grow up
yeah.
with it. I got to experience Clue tapes on MP3. Somebody burnt it on cassette, but all those are gone.
Yeah, the Clue tapes were pivotal, man. Them Desert Storm joints. That's one of my favorite Nas verses is over a DJ Clue shit, man. Crazy. Yeah, those are the J Love tapes, man. The J Love mixtapes, bro.
J
Shout
Love
out
actually
J Love. Obviously, you got Low in your name, so I know you know about J Love.
Oh yeah, of course. Hidden Darts, man. Ghostface, man. Come on, man. It's one of my favorite joints right there, man.
Hell yeah.
Actually, J Love is actually still active now too. I think he's doing producing now too. But shout out to J Love, man, if you want.
One of the illest lows out there, man.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, shout out to the kid of Love, yeah, my guy, my brother, Thurston Howell the third. Sure.
Yeah, man. Shout out my guy, Son Low. Shout out Blame Low, Fellow, all my low lives, man.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
that,
that's all family right there, man. I got a lot of my guys out in Phoenix, Orlando, Miami, obviously, Thurston. Shout out the whole movement, man. You obviously seen the impact that Polo has had, not just on me, but just the whole culture, man. Everybody love Low, bro.
we even like your style now too. Like I noticed, like when I was watching '94 Deathstock, it's like you're like, man, this guy really grew up in the '90s, man, too. Because like in my opinion, like that was like the best. Like I was born in '91, so I didn't get to experience it as a teenager, but I got to experience some of it, as you know what I mean. But if you got to be a teenager in the '90s, man, oh
Yeah. Bro, looking back, I'm so grateful. You know what I mean? Because like, my life was always this fucking constant struggle when I was growing up, and it was like, I think I made it harder than it needed to be. You know what I mean? Because I was so misunderstood, and I didn't understand the era. We went from cell phones out to AI in 25 years, man. You know what I mean? 30 years. So it's not even. You know what I mean? So it's like it's been a crazy journey, and just being outside in the '90s, bro. People talk about that outside shit all the time. Like, bro, we was really
really
getting
outside.
lost, bro. We was really getting lost, bro. Like we like be back at the sundown type shit. You know what I mean? And And I grew up all these different places, man, from the city to the country, man. I grew up all over, all these different states, all these different cities, and I got to experience a lot. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro, the music was really good. We were forced to be outside because we didn't have like all the technology they have these days. Thank God. You know what I mean? That's
No,
something I try to pass it down to my kids. You know what I mean? It's just get the fuck outside, man, and experience the earth, man, because that shit is fun. Like we was out there jumping, building ramps and doing all sorts of shit,
riding a
dog.
bike.
Just trying to injure ourselves, bro. Like jumping out of trees on trampolines and just fucking wilding out, bro. It was fun. Even like being a teenager in the late '90s, like '99, 2000, when I first moved to Arizona, that shit was crazy as fuck too. You know what I mean? Like it was like it was really like the movie Kids, just in different places. You know what I mean? In different scenarios. Like the shit was wild, bro. Like it was just really unadulterated. You know what I mean? Like nowadays you're seeing on film and you're like, that's crazy, but like almost the same exact shit was happening back then. You just didn't get it recorded. You know what I mean? Like think about all the low lives, bro. Think about they created security cameras for what they were doing at the store, the Macy's store in Times Square. You know what I mean? Like that was like they were fleecing them. No pun intended. But that was the era where you could run up and shit, and you could just steal shit like that, and no one would even like boom you out. No one's over there trying to get get a camera footage and turn you in, and no one's the security shit, was just being put in. You know what I mean? I remember, bro, like I made a living, fucking going to Walmart, taking Zippos, some cheap ass watches, and just taking them shit to school in the backpack, selling them for like little $5-10 a piece, getting my money up, buying some weed. Like I never paid. I wasn't paying for weed. Walmart was paying for weed, dog. I was just policing them, bro. They was just looking.
Yeah, I did the same thing, but with Gage. While I was paying for my weed too. I felt
You know what I'm saying?
felt
But the cargo pockets back then, just fill them bitches up. Just you know what I mean? Like it was a time, bro. It was a time. So growing up in that era, I'm grateful for it. Going back to '94 Deadstock, I wanted to display all the different types of fashion, not just like because I have all these different types of polo pieces, and I wanted to like I rock it different, and I don't just wear polo. You know what I mean? So, but
yeah.
that was specifically to commemorate a lot of the brands that inspired me, like even the unspoken ones like 555 Soul, LRG, Echo Unlimited, Academics, Mecca, and Nietzsche or NYC. Just all these brands that were iconic to me, and I couldn't pull off all of it in '94 Deadstock. That's why you got to wait for the sequel. You know what I mean? But
So yo,
and what's
you
cool is
gotta
I could always like activate that era and like I could shoot something and make it look like I'm in that era. Why? Because I was in that fucking era. You know what I mean? And like, even my look, my style with my tattoos, like, the first dude that I seen that was fully blasted was Travis Barker. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, bro, like I wasn't like a crazy Blink 182 fan, but they was big in the 90s and obviously pretty much everybody kind of caught wind of it, depending on the circle you in, I guess. But, I was exposed to a lot of that alternative rock, man, because my dad liked it too. So the fact that like my pops was listening to everything, rock related. So, when I caught on to Blink 182, I seen a video or something, and I was like, damn, that fool was blasted. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't never really seen no, like, the people back then, they weren't as, especially on the East Coast, like, in Maryland, like, I ain't seen nobody, like, bro, nowadays, like, these middle schoolers got sleeves and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's
it
facts.
wasn't, it was, it wasn't like that back then. You know what I mean? Like, these kids on something else. Plus, like, if that's kind of a sign that you got some bread to spend and you a badass, you know what I mean? So, Travis Barker was like, having his neck done and shit. I was like, damn. So like, I think that just had influence on like, seeing like how I put everything together. Like, my tattoos are very much like 90 because that look is a 90s look. You know what I mean? Just to be fully blasted with good quality tattoos. You know what I mean?
Got
Like,
yes, because there's some shitty ass ink out there.
yeah, or you was like, or you had like you was on some straight gangster shit, and you had all black and white, or all just black shade work, whatever, and you could tell, and that's why when people look at my tattoos, like, I fuck the street shit. Like the street shit was where lessons had lesson learned, but like bro, this is all art. You know what I'm saying? Like real art. Like no disrespect to all the street work and shade work, because that's pure art too. But it represents something totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like this represents different parts of who I am as a person. Like, you know, not just the shit I did in the streets, you know what I mean, or in a prison or something, you know what I mean. So, you know, I never got no tattoos when I was in prison. You know what I mean? Thank God. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
thank
So,
God, man.
you know, and like there are some great artists, but yeah, I'm really into the, you know, to the good practices and the quality ink and all that shit, man. So, you know,
Sanitation.
but yeah, Barker was a badass drummer and he had that look. And to me, I was like, you know what? I'm like, I didn't set out to do it, but just knowing that, you know, that look was achievable, that like I didn't want to just have like one little tattoo and be like, you know, I wanted to really go in and dedicate myself. And I knew what I was doing as far as pigeonholing myself into the art, bro. It's only a matter of time before I do nothing but music. You know what I mean? Like I still have other forms of income, but like, you know, I'm like, yeah, I was born to be an artist, bro. You know, I just have a big family, bro. And I have a, you know, I have an expensive lifestyle, you know what I mean? So, you know, I require a lot of money, you know what I mean? So I'm grateful for everything I've seen off this rap shit, bro. And what I'm seeing now is, you know, some of the best shit, you know what I mean? Where it's continuing to grow. And as we're getting into other business ventures, you know what I mean? Like it's dope. But, you know, just going back to that whole look, man, like that's really just became a part of my identity. And, you know, I think Travis was an early inspiration of that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, just knowing that when he went all in and like, you know, I wanted to do that too. It took me a while to get to the right space as an artist to have that confidence, you know what I mean? But now the world can see what I've been doing and what I've been going through over the last 20 years, you know?
I like how you said that you were born to be an artist because you're a fulfiller of your destiny. Because you said one time that when you were 14, when your mom sent you away, she took the big Bible of CDs, and all that was left
Yeah.
was the last of the last shall be shall. And years
The
later,
last shall be first.
oh yeah, so
Yeah.
my bad, guys. Sounds bad. My bad. You know, they're gonna kill me for that.
You're good, you're good, you're good, you're good.
But years later, you got your first feature from Hellraiser, and you're a person who never
Yeah.
forgot somebody who gave you your first shot at your dreams. Now too, that's a
That's
pretty
that's right.
story itself.
Yeah. Shout out, man. Sharon is good people, man. Hellraiser, Heaven Raiser. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's he's one of the sharpest pens ever. And I don't say that lightly, bro. When you go back and listen to him, you know, man, incredibly talented artist, and he inspired me to do a lot of work with my spirit and my pen and combining the two. And you know, that's a good brother right there. And I was able to link with Priest, and Priest became, you know, like extended family. You know what I mean? So you know, yeah, bro, that's crazy. And I always wonder if that CD was something else.
Yeah,
I'm almost positive. Like, not to say that it wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? It's
oh,
just
it was
that
amazing. Man,
yeah,
mathematics.
yeah. That's a classic, bro. That's a classic. That should be considered a classic. That shit has Wyclef, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Meth. Like, bro, that's unbelievable records on there, man. Street Life. Like, I mean, that shit is that's a beautiful piece of art right there, man. It's so interesting how influential that came. You know, speak of the devil. Speak of the devil. Hey, ma. Hey, you remember that one time you took my CD Bible back in '98, and you took the whole CD and you sent me to Tallahassee? Remember that? You remember that?
What did I do?
Remember you stole all my CDs when you
I
said
don't remember.
you don't remember? And you left me with one CD.
You have one CD.
Yeah, yeah. And
What year was this?
98.
Year my dad died.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that one CD, I ended up working with all the artists. With all the artists, it was in the CD player. Yeah. See, I never told her that story, but you caught me on the spot. So
I won't take up much of your time. I don't want to keep your mom's waiting either, man.
nah, you good, man. Nah, she coming and going, bro. You good.
Yeah, that's very inspiring because you worked with all of them except for Prodigal Son, and I'm kind of
That's right. That's right.
and I'm kind
I
of
never worked. I never worked with Prodigal.
and I'm kind of the same
Never
way.
worked
I
with Prodigal.
did everybody but Killer Priest. Now,
You've interviewed everybody but Killer Priest.
Yeah, 60, Heaven Raise It Twice, and 60 Second Obsessed.
So I'll hit Priest. I'll hit
No,
Priest
no,
and
no,
tell him you
no,
want to.
no, it's okay.
Nah, why not? Well, I'm just saying, why not? I'm gonna hit him now. I got an excuse to hit him up. You know what I mean?
Nah, man, nah, because it's part of your story, man. Because I like how when you go out and fulfill your destiny, because it's like what you said. Can you imagine if that CD, like, what if it was Killer Army, or what if it was like a complete rock CD? Like, I wonder if it would have like changed your perspective on how you come out with your artist, especially the beginning stages.
Yeah, no, I mean it's that's the thing is when you look at me, I think you see the direct correlation between Sons of Man and Vendetta Kings. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
for
do.
years, it was like that was the lane, man. That was the sound. That was not for everybody. I mean, everybody was doing everything, but still, it was like that was such a big part of hip hop, and I had these strong beliefs, man, and I wanted to put those beliefs out there, and Killer Priest and people. Killer Priest is a pioneer on his own because of what he did with Heavy Mental and how deep he gets into the metaphysical, spiritual, whole thing, man. And you know, he inspired so many artists I can name off top, and I won't because they deserve their individual credit as well. But Priest is an absolute pioneer and inspired a generation of rappers to tap in with that real deep spiritual side, man. And you know, there's a whole lane now for like psychedelic rappers, and you could thank
Yeah.
you could thank Killer Priest for that. You know what I mean?
So even like with that now too, like working with your discography and like your vast discography now too, what made you like want to like wipe off like most of like because you said you did some cleaning about like your old like Vendetta Kings. Not to say it wasn't good, but like I tried to look for some old interviews. There's like I can't find anything. Like there's a podcast out there and you try to play it and it won't play.
I mean, we only did a few things. Priest, I've interviewed with Priest a couple times, and man, because I transitioned to like in between groups and just the process of gaining that identity. There wasn't a lot of media I was doing. You have to remember, man, I was living a lot of life back then,
Yeah.
and we was rapping about revolutionary shit, but we was very much not doing revolutionary things, bro. Like we was just living life, struggling, running the streets. Sometimes we was doing good. I always say struggling because even though the money might have been good, we was still struggling, bro. You know what I mean? Trying to figure shit out. And that's mainly like me and my partner Ghost, man. When I talk about Ghost, man, and my boy Jeremy's been like my brother, you know what I mean? So we went through a lot, and those eras were, obviously with losing John, with one of our I guess bandmates, but more like a brother, that really like changed the whole thing, you know what I mean? And I really kind of like I already had a sour taste in my mouth because of the whole lane. I really don't like lanes in general because they're really clicky, man. And it's like everybody kind of gets into this sound, and then they got the gatekeepers, and then they got the guys at the top and the guys at the middle and the guys in the bottom. I don't like class systems either. So like, and this is always why I've been kind of like I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm opinionated as fuck. A lot of people don't resonate. If you were to hear interviews with King David or D Valentine or
Oh,
whoever
shit.
the fuck back then, you know what I mean? You would ought to just been like, yo, fuck them, fuck this, fuck this. I mean, that was kind of my demeanor, and I'm still very much opinionated. It's just that I try to do it in a little bit more of a tasteful way, and I really just let the music talk, bro. When I talk my shit, I talk my shit in some Instagram comments sometimes. I'm a human, bro. I hop on there every now and then. You know what I mean? When I'm taking a shit, I'll be on Instagram clowning some goofy that thinks they know what the fuck they're talking about, or watching somebody fucking talk to fucking Sexy Red or some fucking goofy ass industry plant that actually fucking that doesn't mean dick. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, I'll chime in and be like, who cares? You know what I mean? Because I'm a mean ass little troll, dog. I don't know what to say. I love real shit so much. It's easy for me to just chastise bullshit, But I think the lack of being of us, especially as Americans, you know what I mean, being like, oh, don't worry, we just don't want to say anything. Don't offend them. Man, speak the fuck up and say something. These
Yeah.
motherfucking vultures are ruining our culture, bro. Get the fuck out of here. There's no space for y'all, bro. Period. Like, I don't care who it is, bro. If you degrading the culture and talking about fucking all that negative bullshit, or you objectifying uh certain ethnicities and certain genders and all that, man, fuck that shit, dog. Make art, bro. Be who you are. Make art. Give it to the world. And if you ain't got nothing important to say, or if you ain't got nothing nice to say, shut the fuck up, bro. Real shit. Like, no one cares if you out there putting two words together, bro. That's why that rapper shit is so overrated, bro. I'm a fucking artist, bro. I'm a writer. I actually write words down on paper. I don't just speak in fucking LOLs and WTFs. You feel what I'm saying, bro? I don't eat McDonald's and I don't make McDonald's. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this shit is 1, 2, and 3 Michelin stars, bro. And that's not the ego talking. You know what I mean? Because my shit is valid. Like 100% valid. And anybody who matters in this culture will get behind what the fuck I'm talking about. Because I done put the years in. You know, so when I start talking like this, that's the footage you want to get from from the old school. That's the shit you're looking for. But the reason why I cleaned it up is because there's a big degree of separation between the old me and the new me, bro. And you know, I reserve the right to reinvent. I'll see you soon. Love you.
Of course.
But you know, it's for me. There was so much stigma, bro. Like, I had run-ins with rappers. I was getting at rappers. I was speaking for everybody. I didn't have no right doing that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, real shit. Like, I could say, I could hold myself accountable now and be like, you know what? That was young me that was just a little bit too eager and wanted to prove myself and had a chip on my shoulder. And, you know, I was still insecure. I wanted the credit. You know, I wanted the validation. And, you know, I never got it, you know, on the underground like that when I was younger. Now I'm just now starting to get it, bro. And that's dope. And I appreciate it. And what I realized, though, is that's not what I'm doing it for. And it's a blessing. And it's something, it's like icing on a cake, man. People giving you props and buying your shit or whatever, loving you as an artist. But, you know, this is more about, you know, me figuring myself out and wanting to accurately project myself to the world. And I didn't want people to look up Maze Overlay and just get me rapping about, you know, astral planes and psychedelics and shit. You know, I didn't want people to look up Maze Overlay and be like, oh shit, he rapping about, you know, government shit and all this revolutionary shit. Like, bro, I did some crazy shit. I said some crazy shit. Like I'm gonna have to answer for all that shit because motherfuckers like you are gonna be digging and then they're gonna be like, bro, what's up with this Vendetta Kings record? You said this bar. Like, there's gonna be a lot of spicy conversations, and that's okay because I'm not like, first of all, like, bro, like Eminem said blatant racist shit on record in a rap song, and guess what? He had a fucking rap career. So like, sorry, and yeah, there's a lot of powers to be behind all that, but at the end of the day, like, bro, ain't nothing gonna stop me. You know what I'm saying? No, ain't no old shit that I've done gonna define my new shit, bro. I've been in fucked up situations. I've done dirt. I done fucked up shit. That don't define what I'm doing now. I paid my debts. I paid my karma, dog. You know what I'm saying? My life is good because I make it good. You know what I mean? So, you know, say what?
You grew as an individual.
Absolutely. And there's nothing that I'm still proud of Vendetta Kings. I'm still proud of my past.
Oh, yeah.
In certain ways. But like Vendetta Kings is its own thing. And, you know, and Maze Overlay is his own thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it needed its own space to breathe. I didn't want to be affiliated. You know, you go to certain people's things, it's like, yo, I'm this person. I'm 1/3 of this. I'm 1/2 of this. I'm this. I'm the founder of this.
I know.
I'm like, and for me, that started with hip hop. You know, being like, yo, I'm KRS Run from the Bronx. You know, I'm J. Rue the Damager from East New York. You know what I mean? Like, I'm Babu the turntablist. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we got these titles. Like, it's dope, bro. You know, but you know, don't forget, before anything, we're just a human being. And I love the superhero comic book effect that hip hop had on me as a child. And you know, that was beautiful, and that's part of the allure. And now there's a lot of young kids coming up that look at, you know, especially artists that are very animated, like Mickey Diamond. You know, like he's a character, man. And you know, now people growing up on that, like SD Knack. SD Knack is a character, and that's just a couple of my, you know, contemporaries here on the on a circuit, you know, in this little music circuit we in, you know what I mean? And you know, people, other kids now in their teens are looking up to that. And I'd much rather look up to that than look up to, you know, a lot of these drill artists and some of the other options
I
that they
feel
have,
you, man.
you know,
I feel
in
you,
this
man.
era.
I feel you because it's just like pop perks. It's like, no, man, I'm not into that, man.
Bro. I said, yeah, bro. I said, y'all ain't pushing P, you popping perks. I ain't a killer, but I might just catch a body with this verse. Come on, bro. I got some shit coming for you though, man. I got some shit coming for you.
So like with you, because like you have a lot of discography now too. So like I said, I know you
Yes.
come back for a lot of interviews, so I want to get you back, but I don't want to talk about Vendettikins. I want to talk about your entire Maze overlay discography. And that would take a while now.
Yeah.
But I watch all your interviews. I know you're a recurring guest, so I love your energy, my guy. So before I let you go, I'm gonna ask you one more question, and it's gonna be pretty good. So
Come on.
you once said Joe Rogan was the GOAT of DMT. Now, when I ever heard of that, I was like, the GOAT of DMT. Now, Jesus Christ, I never heard of DMT till Joe Rogan either. So maybe you got a point on there now, too. But one of my questions it was now, too. Did you ever
That's
record a
fire.
full album as Maze overlay on DMT?
I would not record on DMT.
No? Okay. Okay. So we got that out
No,
there.
I don't think. I'm not sure anybody could. Like Joe Rogan could. Uh, nah, man. When you go, first of all, you could do it if you did that. You'd have to do it right after you come out, right? Because you couldn't. So we made a track as Vendetta Kings on Digital Angel. It was called DMT, right? Dimethyltryptamine. We had just heard about the shit, the God molecule, whatever. And we was like, all right. I was up for like fucking day and a half coming back from Cali on the Greyhound, fucking with Priest and
God.
shit. Like, so I was burnt out, just like, delirious, right? So we were like, yo, what if we record like? So we recorded the track, fucking absolutely tired and just to experiment, like to see what it would be like. But nah, bro, that was natural DMT, right? Like, when I first got the balls to really smoke DMT, it was like 2000, it was 2012, I think. Dog, you're inebriated, bro. You're gonna sit back and be like, you're gonna be breathing heavy. You're gonna hear yourself breathing. You ain't recording like that, pimp. Like that's no
See,
way.
I never seen anyone who, so I wouldn't know what it's like. So I have to ask. I was like, I got it because you have a vast discography. So I had to ask. I'm like, I wonder if he did an album on this.
Nah. So really, what you're getting in a lot of these tapes is I'm not a DMT is not my thing. I've done it a couple of times, and it's definitely been an experience.
Oh, I bet.
Um, But I'm more into the mushroom things, bro. So like you'll hear like there's in between all these albums, I'm due for one right now. I'm about to find me a good day off and take me an eighth, bro, because I need to reset, bro. That's my reset right there, bro. Real shit. So in between these albums, I'm experimenting with the psychedelic. That's why I get really reflective. When you hear me talking about trying to get rid of the pain and working through this and working, I'm getting rid of that shit because I'm having those experiences. I'm still going on those vision quests. I'm not done working on me. I'll never be done working on me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not only in my case study in general, okay, but like in general, I've spent a lot of everybody constantly is just growing. You know what I mean? So we all a work in progress. You know what I mean? And I'm just a big proponent of adding those psychedelics in for Westerners because if you're not already prone to meditation and breathing and holistic kind of practices and knowing how to reset and really tap in and tap out, like it's you're not gonna be, that's why we have the Terrence McKennas of the world, bro, to kind of lead the way for us. You know what I mean? And, you know, um, I've had some unbelievable experiences with that shit, and it definitely goes into the entire discography. You know what I mean? Like this, I appreciate you call it that, man. I'm just getting started, and this was literally like I consider these projects. These are art projects. These are not. I wouldn't say they're all full albums in the sense of like a studio album is
Oh, I
perceived to
get
the
that.
world, but they are for all intents and purposes a body of work, you know what I mean, that is put on an album and it's a record, you know what I mean, and I value that. It's just you have to remember, like, we're all building up, I've only told the story for the past 3 years. Like we have We have years to
Oh
go
my
where
God.
I'm the best part of the story. We haven't even got to the crazy part. But this year, towards the end of this year, we're gonna get to some really, really fire parts of the story, man. So, it's all part of the journey, man. And it's like the Truman Show, man. I'm just literally living life and letting the people watch it, bro. That's it. My life was mildly entertaining compared to a lot of people, I guess. So, I put it out there, and and the world gets to be not only entertained but hopefully a little bit enlightened as well. Hopefully, you gain something positive from it. I don't want to inspire anybody to do no negative shit. So, I always want to leave people with a prolific, feeling when they're done listening to Maze. It could be a different vibe, but still be like, damn, that's dope. But like, I want to do something dope. You know what I mean? I want to do something positive, and that's what I'm going for, man. So also, I like that Bronze Nazareth hat, man. That's one of my guys right there. I got the
Yeah,
pleasure of
big
meeting
supporter.
Bronze out in LA, and yeah, he's one of the most. I was just talking about him yesterday, man. He's one of the most talented pens probably ever. I mean, if you could live on a track with Killer Sin is, but that going back, that is a fire Joe Rogan quote though. Joe Rogan is the go to DMT because Joe Rogan was literally going into isolation tanks with like the salt water fucking floating, smoking DMT, like talking to aliens and shit. Like this dude was a pro at smoking DMT. Like, I mean, I was listening to these podcasts and we was like listening to Jay Electronica at the same time. So he had this track called Dimethyltryptamine. It was kind of crazy. It was all lining up, but Rogan was a pioneer, bro. And he was willing to smoke that DMT like 150, 250 times, probably even more, and just tell the world about it. But everybody else is scared as fuck to smoke that shit.
I'm still scared as fuck to smoke shit. I don't even When I smoke weed, that's it. And cigarettes, that's about it. But DMT, that's something. And I tried mushrooms, but I don't like. I'm not big on psychedelics though. But that was the time where it wasn't so accessible. There's some guy probably grew it in his fucking basement the way I took it. But anyways, not
Right.
about Maze Overlay though. But I know you got to go, my guy. Before I let you go though, I want to say thank you for sharing your gift with us now too. Because man, I don't think that this underground would be the same without Maze Overlay now too.
That's dope. That's
Because
dope.
we don't really get a Maze Overlay now too. I like how you stand out from the rest now too. It's like I'm just not gonna rap on lo-fi beats and tell them about my drugs. I told like I'm gonna tell them about real life. So that's why I wanted to talk about your discography now too. But we didn't got that time. I was gonna take like a 2.5 hour conversation. So
Yeah, no, we gonna make time for that though. So, we'll keep Coach in the loop and we'll make sure that, shout out to Coach for, obviously lining everything up. And, I appreciate you having me, man. And it's always a blessing to be able to explain part of my story without necessarily explaining all of my music too. You know what I mean? Like I think the part of the music I love to keep it, I love for people to decipher, even though I will, and I want to talk about my whole discography. We go through all the albums and all the projects. I always appreciate the opportunity to talk about my real life and some of the shit that I've been through because I feel like I am grossly misunderstood by a lot of the artists and a lot of my contemporaries. And, I'm really trying to, I don't need to explain myself, but
no,
I
that's
like
the
for
beauty
people
of
to understand me because I know I'm a very complex individual, hence Maze, right? Like I keep going back to this and it's redundant because I didn't go into this to have some really cool rapper name and have this ego. It was all about me figuring out who the fuck I am. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still on that path. You know what I mean? So I don't mean to be long winded about the response. I'm just saying, you know, I like to be able to talk about like, the shit that made me who I am. And I think it really, really lends to understanding my music more.
it
You know what I
does.
mean? So I'm grateful for that, man. And, keep doing your thing. Let me know whenever you want to have me back. It's always going to be like this. I tell all my homies too, man. I'm like, I can't wait to see myself rise, where it's not just going to be the underground that I'm standing out in. You know what I mean? It's going to be the entire music industry I'm standing out in. And when we have this interview, wherever we are, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same vibe, just with a different number in the account and a different level of listeners we've affected. You know what I mean? So keep doing your thing, stay positive, stay hungry, stay dangerous, stay foolish, and keep that love in your heart, man. I love what you're doing. Tap in whatever you need something from me, my guy.
All right, my guy. And yo, Maze Overlay, for the people watching me right now, man, if you listen to Maze Overlay, I deeply encourage you to listen to his discography, man, especially Thief or Aztec, man. It's one of my favorites.
Aztec is some really dope shit. Shout out to Pharma. The Hustle in Every Form or Thief is that's my latest work, and we stand by the latest and the greatest. You know what I mean? So both great picks, though, man. You got good taste for it. So for everybody that is listening and wants to tap in, I really don't care if you follow me on Instagram, but I would really love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit up my Spotify and go buy something off of Bandcamp. But you can tap in with Maze Overlay everywhere. Just type in MAZE Overlay, and you gonna find your boys. So shout out to all my fans, all my supporters, all the people that showed me love and over the years, all the people that kept me, my artists. Luke Heath, one of the people that inspired me when I ain't have nothing and I wanted to quit, and he was just drawing pictures and making art of me. You know what I mean? And that shit kept me going, man. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody that's gonna tune into the interview. I appreciate you taking the time. Keep tapping in and keep doing your thing. So we'll see you soon, my boy.